Well, the following video might not sound like a very serious video, but I'm going to give you some really good, simple tips on how to prevent heart attacks in a real fashion. Actually, the doctors are not trained in this, and you could say, well, who am I? But I'll tell you, like, I read and peruse the best information that's going. I could tell you also that a lot of times the alternative health sites, quote-unquote alternative health websites, they are loaded with disinformation, or they're run by idiots, or they're people that are just trying to sell you something behind the scenes. Now, part of what I'm going to tell you right now, I tell you what is a very good source for this information, is the Pauling Institute. Linus Pauling, the two-time Nobel Peace Prize winner, who was the only one to actually have two unshared Nobel Peace Prize prizes. Even though he's not a medical doctor, the man is a genius. He definitely knew what he was talking about. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the best things, now you probably do know already what I'm going to talk about first, is vitamin C. Vitamin C has been known to be a repairer of tissue. A lot of times when you have heart attacks, or even have mini heart attacks before you even have a major heart attack, unfortunately if you ever have that, you want to actually repair any type of tissue that's in a body. If there's extra stress on the heart, and there's things going on, it's creating little mini tears, or there's extra strain because of plaque buildup in the arteries, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. You want to make sure that you have a lot of vitamin C on hand. Vitamin C is not a vitamin. It is actually a misnomer. It should have been called a hormone. It's found in most of the animal world. This is something that Linus Pauling actually rediscovered from other people, but it's been known actually since the 40s that vitamin C can be a very effective, powerful cure. Cure, the big word, C, cure, associate that. I'll really go out on a limb and say this because it's not been proven by me. It's been proven in the past by medical doctors, even though most of the medical profession doesn't endorse this. Unfortunately, the medical profession has become a business. It's not the individual doctors that are generally the problem. Sometimes they are somewhat too much money-driven. It's a mixed bag. But the thing is, it has been scientifically proven through people like Frederick Kleiner way back even in the 40s that vitamin C cured polio 60 out of 60 times. Now the thing is, why does it do this? It's actually an absolute antivirus side. It's a very, very effective antitoxin because it works against all free radicals. But bang for the buck, there's nothing better. And I'll tell you one thing, the ones that like Dr. Cathcart and Dr. Levy, they didn't use anything special. They didn't use like the natural form of vitamin C, which can be very expensive. That can work too, but they just use plain old synthetic vitamin C. I know there's a lot of arguments on the net saying, oh yeah, because somebody writes someplace else because they're trying to sell you something expensive. I'm not pushing any product here. I'm just telling you that this has been valid research by medical doctors, not only the Linus Pauling Institute, but also medical doctors, that this stuff can be very, very effective. The problem is a lot of people don't take enough of it. Now, you can only take so much of it orally, but 80% of the people can take up to 10,000 milligrams, or 10 grams of it, a day, if it's in divided up doses. The worst that can happen to you is that you'll probably have to run to the bathroom once in a while. But, you actually get used to it after a while. I don't even have that problem, and I'm taking 30,000 milligrams of it, okay? So I just want to say this can make you a lot more vibrant in a lot of ways. Not only, it won't change your hair color to pink and blonde or something like that, although that is pretty damn hot. I can tell you one thing, it'll keep you probably a lot younger than in a lot of ways too, because vitamin C has been known as a collagen protector. Besides, you see, it protects everything in the body. It's actually one of the biggest anti-aging hormones going. Yeah, and if you go back, I know people argue about religion, but I'll tell you one thing. Maybe that story, I think it is true. The story with Noah in the Bible being 920 years old, people theorize, some scientists anyway, theorize that we used to have the capability of synthesizing our own vitamin C in our bodies. We no longer have that. There's a few people that have some capability of that, not like it used to be probably, but if we had major capabilities of that, we would live to be centuries old and still be young. How's that? Now, I'm putting this out here as actually a heart attack prevention type thing. I think it actually does work very well, but it's like a maintenance thing. But the thing is, it's very cheap. Vitamin C is one of the most powerful things you can actually do. It'll help you feel more alive. It'll give you more energy. it's a number of things. Now, the other thing is they also talk about, this is actually from the Pauling Institute, but I'll go in a little more. It's not just the Pauling Institute, but it's backed up by a number of medical doctors. But if I wanted to, I could pick out a number of different studies from even like Harvard studies. It'll tell you this is no good, that's no good, and they conflict with each other. I am sensing that there's a lot of garbage information out there, and there's actually a lot of garbage information coming out from the alternative, quote-unquote, health world. But I'm going to say this, by being extra healthy, it'll help you to think more clearly. It'll help you to sharpen your focus, your thoughts, your awareness, the whole 9 yards, all the way around. That's what health does. It's not like just, hey, man, I'm going to help my heart health. Well, it's your overall body. It actually helps your sexual health because, sexual health and sexual strength is actually, a lot of it's from cardio. Actually have from the good circulatory system in male and female. How does that work with males with the Viagra, right? It opens up the veins. But if you already have good circulatory health, you actually have good sexual health too. You also have a quicker mind. You have better awareness. The whole thing all goes together. Overall health basically helps overall everything else, and it helps you to mingle in the crowd and all that type of stuff. But I'm going to tell you that lysine is another thing. It's just that's a protein. You can get it from food. A lot of foods have lysine and arginine, and they have different ratios of arginine. But lysine is actually something of an antiviral, but lysine will also help with your heart because what happens is it binds the sticky stuff that clogs up in your arteries. I'll just put it to you that way. All right? It binds with the plaster that builds up in your arteries and causes these plaques in your heart and all these restrictions that happen in your heart. Now, there's a number of things you can actually do besides that, but I'm just going to mention a few things. Basically, the vitamin C to help repair, to help detoxify, and to also, it actually does provide energy in a lot of ways because it's repairing every aspect in every cell in your body. It will actually keep you younger longer, vitamin C. There's no BS about that, all right? It's about the safest antioxidant going. Pretty much any other antioxidant, there's like an unsafe limit. Vitamin C, I don't think they've ever found an unsafe limit. The worst you can have is bowel intolerance. But most people, like I said, 80% of people can tolerate up to 10,000 milligrams a day. Now, you can train yourself, I think, and I've read this, and I've tried it. I'm taking 30,000 milligrams a day, all right? Okay, but I'm telling you, I think it's very good for your heart. And the reason I'm saying that is because doctors say that. But there's side benefits. The side benefits are youth, vibrance, vitality, energy, the whole 9 yards. I know a lot of women are freaking used to like, hey, plastic surgery don't cut it, man. You really want to be young from the inside out, right? That's the way you want to really work it. Not just have, the outside shell be young. You want to actually feel young. You want to be alert, bright, feel all your senses be on edge. So every sensory input and output that you have is at its peak efficiency. So that's what vitamin C is actually going to every cell in your body. So just remember that. If you want to stay young and vibrant your whole life, you're probably best off taking a lot of vitamin C. Bang for the buck. There's nothing better than that. Okay? Lysine actually is very good in a lot of ways. It has a number of other things besides helping with the plaque. And I'll tell you one thing, we're a very good food source for lysine, and it does a lot of other things because it gives you the right probiotics, is yogurt. And it also gives you the right other proteins too, yogurt. Low-fat yogurt has a very good ratio of lysine to arginine, and you will, it has all the very best. For bang for the buck, it's probably one of the best foods to have. So you really don't need to take a special pill for lysine. You can really probably just want to make sure you eat yogurt and you have your probiotics and all that stuff because having a good digestive system actually works with your overall health too. But, I know a lot of people are looking at this maybe saying, okay, I want to make prevention of heart attacks, but let's even go farther than that because you want to actually be young forever or as long as possible. And The way this vitamin C is preventing heart attacks is it is repairing and strengthening the cells in every part of the body, which also goes along with vitality, strength, and youth. Staying young, okay? Now, also, I want to say one other thing, because besides the lysine, which you can just get from yogurt, so all you got to do is get vitamin C and yogurt. Now, any type of vitamin C is actually okay, but I'm going to tell you one type to avoid is ester C, which is calcium ascorbate. It's okay if you're taking like 1 or 2,000 milligrams of it, or 1 or 2 grams. But if you're taking a lot of it, it has too much calcium, and you don't want to build up too much calcium in your body. I could say a number of other things about vitamin D and B complex and niacin and Mediterranean herbs, olive oil and coconut oil and borage oil, flax oil, and alfalfa, the whole 9 yards. I don't want to confuse people. I just want to keep it nice and simple. And actually, just look at this as the poor man's or poor woman's guide to vitality, youth, and good overall health. Vitamin C is actually something that can keep your stamina up a lot better once you start getting on a roll with this stuff. Like I said, I take a lot more than what they probably say you should, but I have not seen any problems, and I feel really good, and I wish I had more hours in the day to do all the fun stuff I want to do. But, what the hell, man? I freaking, we got to sleep once in a while. So, anyway, now the other thing I want to talk about is NAC. I don't know. It's N-acetylcysteine. I know that, but I'm thinking, what's a good way to remember? I don't know what's a good way to remember NAC. NAC. A NAC with just N without the. I don't know. I don't know how you can remember that, but remember NAC, N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine is another thing that is a very powerful. It's actually just a protein. Now you can get, it's very cheap too. You can go on any place on the internet or whatever, Amazon, eBay, Google stores, whatever, and look up NAC, and you can get like a big giant bottle of it, like 300 pills. 500 milligrams a day is plenty. You could take 1,500 milligrams a day, and I know there's studies out there saying too much of it's no good. I don't know about that, because this is another thing that I realized. NAC, what happens is where your body builds up problems inside your veins and arteries, it's like the plaque and all that stuff. Actually, it's the leftover from the protein synthesis. It builds up homocysteine, and it's not really from cholesterol. That's bullshit, okay? Certain types of cholesterol, yes, but not even just cholesterol in general. There's certain types of cholesterol, yes, that actually build up the plaque in the brains, but cholesterol itself is actually very vital for the body. It's actually very vital for brain function, okay? So, when it's freaking just lowering your cholesterol, it's not really the best thing in the world. So, I can tell you cholesterol is actually very essential for your health. The real problem where you build up these blockages in your veins and your arteries, it's from homocysteine and lipoprotein A. There's a few other things you could do besides this, but I want to keep it simple, okay? I mean, I could talk about TMG, trimethylglycine, and stuff like that, or some of the B vitamins that can help. But N-acetylcysteine has a number of uses. It can actually help lower the lipoprotein A and the homocysteine levels in the blood. That causes the stickiness that builds up the plaque inside the veins and the arteries. N-acetylcysteine. But the thing is, besides that, it's a precursor for glutathione. A lot of glutathione is actually an expensive supplement, but NAC is cheap. NAC is a precursor for glutathione. Glutathione is a very, very powerful antioxidant. It's anti-aging. It's one of the most potent antioxidants going. It prevents a lot of free radical damage from toxic exposures. And NAC is very good for detoxifying heavy metals such as mercury, lead, and cadmium, okay, and aluminum, okay. Also, it's been used for the flu and boosting the immune system, H1N1, HIV, lung cancer, regular cancer, ear infections, epilepsy, complications with kidney dialysis. It's a damn good thing to take, okay. and it's very cheap. So actually, I had this out on a thing where I was talking about the billionaires that. This is a picture of Diana Dors, by the way, the British answer to Marilyn Monroe back in the 1950s. Boy, I'll tell you, I wish I could have trained her way back when. She'd probably be alive and still looking like this today, 50, at 100 years old, whatever she'd be, 90 years old, whatever. Actually, I was going to put a picture of my mom out here, but I said, nah, I ain't going to do that. You wouldn't believe what she looks like. Holy shit. From 2 weeks ago, down in Aruba, down in the islands. I ain't going to put that out here. But I'm going to tell you, she practices what she preaches, and she's an RN, nurse, and all that type of stuff, and she knows her stuff, man. I can tell you that right now. So you would think she's in her 80s. You probably think she's way below that by far. Holy shit. Maybe late 50s. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you this, that, 3 things. Vitamin C, lots of it, okay? Avoid the ester C, probably the best. You don't have to get fancy with it, but if you want to spend a lot of money and get natural C, go right ahead. I'm not going to say not to do it, but you don't need to do that. I know there's going to be people who argue with me, giving me like freaking 5,000 words on comments and saying, oh, you can't. Bullshit. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, the best doctors and the best freaking scientists in the world, they're actually using the cheapest, simplest vitamin C going. What you can say is, oh, it's not the complete. You know what? You don't need to spend a lot of money. I'm not here to freaking sell you nothing, okay? I'm just here to help you out. I practice what I preach, okay? I mean, I'm not in the business of freaking selling vitamin. Just like there can be a link of freaking vitamin C over here, okay? But I practice what I preach. I take a lot of supplements, but I tell you one thing: if I was taking one damn thing that was more important than anything, it would definitely be vitamin C. Also, the lysine, you can just get it from yogurt. Yogurt's got the probiotics in it. It's got a lot of uses for the lysine. It can help with your heart by taking out dissolving that sticky stuff in the heart. Lysine's also an antiviral. It can help with preventing sickness. Believe it or not. I mean, that's a big, bold claim, isn't it? I'm sorry to say that, but you know what? I got to say it. This is getting ridiculous if you can't say this kind of stuff, because it's actually in the medical journals, but then again, there's other medical studies out there that conflict other things. And I can tell you one thing. If you really want to get down to why sometimes some things conflict other things, it's like they're not really comparing the same thing. They're comparing apples to oranges. And, I'm not sure what the freaking devious reasons are sometimes for not telling people about this stuff. But vitamin C has been known as an effective cure for so many things since the 40s. Dr. William Frederick Kleiner. But he's not the only one. There's loads of them. There's loads of other doctors. Besides, not a medical doctor, but Linus Pauling advocating this. Actually, Linus Pauling advocated way less than a lot of the medical doctors. Wow. So I can tell you one thing. This thing could probably prevent a lot of heart attacks. It's probably not a guarantee. But as far as something bang for the buck, you can't beat it. And, as far as, like, lysine, you don't need to take a lysine pill. You just get some yogurt. It's got plenty of lysine in it. It also has the right other probiotics. It's very healthy for you in other ways. And the other thing you probably want to take as a pill, even though it's in foods, is the N-acetylcysteine. It is actually very cheap. It's very cheap. N-acetylcysteine has so many freaking uses. But, like I said, one of the things besides, having it using it almost as a medicine, N-acetylcysteine, it can actually detoxify the body of all this crap that we're surrounded with today. All these things that are freaking getting on us, that are getting in our food, they're probably being sprayed in our air, that are coming from Fukushima or whatever the hell they're coming from. I don't even know. But, the thing is, it'd probably be good to take that as a supplement besides. You're going to get some N-acetylcysteine in your foods, but, it's probably a smart thing to take that as a supplement because of all the pollutants and toxins we're exposed to today. And the other thing is, glutathione is extremely expensive, right? So it's not necessarily a guarantee that by taking NAC you'll raise your glutathione levels, but it could very much help with that because it's a precursor to glutathione. So they can help with your glutathione levels in a very cheap and effective manner, cheap as in inexpensive manner. And glutathione is another thing that can actually help with longevity, health. In other words, your vibrance, your awareness, your mental alertness, your energy levels, the whole 9 yards. So I'm telling you the stuff that's cheap, the cheapest, the best for the bang buck for the money, and all that kind of crap. And just focus. Right now, I guess it's space. I'm really focusing more on the heart attack issue, the heart health issue. The cholesterol is generally not the problem. There's certain kinds of cholesterol that are the problem, but having a little extra cholesterol is not going to hurt you. Like a good example is the Eskimos basically have no freaking heart disease or any history of heart disease, and they have cholesterol way the hell up there. Actually, you need cholesterol for your brain function. You'll get brain fog if you have too low cholesterol. There's only certain kinds of cholesterol that are bad, and actually, like it's the low density, the real low density, and the Lipoprotein A and the homocysteine, which the NAC will help with that a lot. The vitamin C will help with that. There's other things that will help with it too, the B vitamins and all that. I don't want to confuse people. I just want to tell people cheap stuff. Vitamin C, yogurt, which includes a lot of your lysine and probiotics, which is lysine I'm talking about, and NAC, N-acetylcysteine. So that's dirt cheap. And you will stay vibrant and healthy much longer if you practice these things on a daily basis. And that's what I'm doing. So anyway, good health to you. And let me just say this. I'm here for the people. I'm not here for myself. I already do these things. I already know about these things. I know much more than this. I probably went too long on this video, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm trying to really hammer it into you that this is worth it, okay? I'm not selling it. I'm just really trying to tell you this stuff is really, really worth it. There's not bang for, because I could tell you a million more products out there. Bang for the buck. Bang for the buck is vitamin C, lysine, which you can just get from low-fat yogurt, and NAC. Bang for the buck. That's what we're talking about.